right, I'm Heather Adams. This summer I got to do my internship at Sandy Creek Nature Center. It was an environmental education internship, supposedly, but there was a lot more involved in it. You guys all probably know Sandy Creek Nature Center. It's located in Athens. It is just outside of downtown off of 441. It was funded by SPLOST, which is a special purpose local option sales tax, which is a 1% tax that they can choose to support. And so it funds things like this, recreation and parks. There's 225 acres of woodlands and wetlands. On there's 12 hiking trails, American Disabilities Boardwalk, the exhibit hall, which hosts native wildlife, different natural history exhibits that are interactive. We do outreach. There's a planetarium. There are classrooms. This is one of the classrooms up here. Oh, this is, how do you make it click? This is one of the classrooms. This is Walker Hall, which used to be the primary nature center. Sandy Creek has been around for 41 years. And so the new nature center was built about 20 years ago, I guess. And this is Clay Pit Pond. Let's see. So they also do birthday parties, which was one of my primary jobs on Saturdays. So this is the 225 acres, and you can see the different trails here. One of my other jobs that I did was lead hikes through all these trails all the time, which was one of the fun parts of the job. And then this here is the exhibit hall. I was responsible for maintaining a lot of this stuff. So the goals and objectives of the internship, on the sheet it says the goals are to gain job-related experience from program design and teaching to animal care and facility operations. So I met these objectives. I planned and developed and taught a lot of educational programs. Throughout the day, schools would come and we would host different outreach program from about 9 in the morning until 12. And so I would lead those with the different groups. I participated in all the elements of leading an environmental education center. I did maintenance, I answered phones, I ran the exhibits, the birthday parties, animal care. So the daily operations, first thing I would come in, during the week I would work from 8 to 2. I would come in and I would make sure that the exhibit hall was straight, clean everything, make sure it's ready to prepare for all the visitors and guests. Then I would spend time preparing for outreach programs. I would, whether it was sitting on the computer looking up things to do, planning things, getting different art activities together to tie in the lesson for the day, figuring out which biofacts we wanted to use for the day for the program, and I would lead hikes. I would sit at the front desk and answer phone calls like you were talking about earlier. You get some really crazy questions and have to deal with some really crazy things. That was interesting. I would trail guide, go on hour hikes with the different groups of kids, which was also really interesting because kids have a hard time with outdoors, and a lot of times kids would freak out and scream and they were terrified, and you would try to tell them that they weren't going to see anything cool if they were screaming the whole time, but they thought that they were going to have something bad happen to them. The worst part of the whole job was every day, another thing I regularly had to do was to clean the aquarium glass. And if you've been to Sandy Creek, I have a picture somewhere, the 2,000-gallon aquarium is covered in hard to remove algae, and I would have to do that. So that was the worst thing. This is the animal care room right here, the back of it, where all the snakes and turtles are. And then over here we also had hissing cockroaches that I got to do programs with, which was really funny to see people's reactions to. So I prepared the meals for the animals, and this was, in the exhibit hall we only had native wildlife, but for the programs they were not native. Most of them weren't native. So this obviously is a bearded dragon, which is not native to Georgia. But he was one of my favorite animals to work with, besides the sea turtle that I got to work with. So I had to prepare their meals, clean their tanks and everything out. and change their water, and I had to maintain the nature center, so just picking up trash that raccoons or squirrels got into outside everywhere. And then I had to do stuff like blow leaves off the trail, the 88 trail. And then one of the most fun things of the job was every Friday I had to weigh the sea turtle. And every day I had to feed the sea turtle, and she was really awesome. She reminds me of a dog. She'd get so excited and she would splash, and it's fun. And then I also had to write an article for the Hyla, which is Sandy Creek's newsletter that goes out to everybody and is available. Oh, and I also had to do stuff like this. A big tree fell, so I had to go mark the trail and close the trail off and drive the golf cart around. So this is the front of the animal care room where you chop up all the food and prepare for everybody. This is one of my other favorite animals, the soft-shelled turtle. It was really cute. And then this is the sea turtle. And here's the can of caterpillars, one of the things that I got to chop up for food for everybody. And then this is Kate, one of my supervisors there. This is one of the outreach programs that we did 3 times during the summer. It's called Babies and Beasties, and so the parents and the kids would come and we would do different activities, and I created several of those. And then this is the boardwalk, the 88 trail that we have there. All right, so my contribution to the work environment, I was dependable. I came. That's a good thing to know, you know. I'm going to be there. Every day I would make sure with Kate and Michelle, who would also get really stressed out sometimes about things that were going on, especially with day camp. It was hectic and crazy, so I'd just make sure at the beginning of the day, you know, what they needed, and that I made sure that everything they needed got done. I'd help others, did most stuff by myself without, you know, having to know what to do. Was in a good mood, which they were super stressed out, so that made a difference. And then I had another intern with me who is not a wildlife person. She's an education major, and so a large part of our thing was handling animals and taking care of the animals, and she was terrified to touch a turtle. So I had to help her. She actually cried one day because they were going to make her use a snake for the birthday party, so she went in the bathroom and was crying. So a big part of it was just kind of helping her along. And then new ideas, had to come up with different things for the programs and recreated their art center that they had there, and a whole bunch of new art things. So Warnell in the real world. Warnell helped me a lot with the different things about wildlife. Trail guiding, I had to know about trees, and people would ask you things that there's no way I could know, and then you really start to feel like you don't know a lot of things. Like what kind of moth it was, or what, just all kinds of detailed things. All about interpretation. Learned a lot in my interpretation classes, how to talk with people and do interpretive programs. A lot about ecology. There was large part of talking to people was just about different ways that we're connected with the world. And then I've improved a lot on how to talk in front of an audience from when I first started. It's the biggest fear in the world. So that's how Warnell's helped me. Any questions?